We are now only 1 week away until Splatoon 3 releases on the Nintendo Switch, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to dive into this game. But with that said, of course, I still have a little bit of worries with certain aspects of this game, and today I want to talk about the story mode, because I feel like the story mode may not be as insane and crazy as the Octo expansion was, and how I think it might be actually taking a step backwards this time around. Today I have new pictures from Nintendo themselves and new gameplay clips that I can share with you from some creators that were able to play the game early, and I want to talk about some of the levels. And of course, we've only seen a handful of levels. These could be at the very beginning of the game. We really don't know how every single level is going to pan out. We're just going to have to wait until next week until we can really see how this campaign is going to pan out. But right now I can say that it's looking a little Right now we're looking at SRB 2Dude's gameplay, and he is playing through the first 2 levels, and it seems very familiar. If you guys have ever played a Splatoon campaign from either the first game or the second game, or even the Octo expansion itself, it is, pretty familiar. Floating platforms all over the place, and of course a couple of obstacles for you to get through. You can see the familiar kind of rollout panels. Of course, you'll find your keys that unlocks the next portion of the level, and you have to take it back to the, boxes that you open the boxes, and it allows you to progress further. It's just stuff we've all seen before. And SRB also mentions that it's just extremely easy. He also says, of course, it's the very beginning of the game, and of course, he's going to be really good at it after playing the other Splatoon games and stuff. And if you have any experience with Splatoon, you're going to blast through some of these levels. And yeah, that's just the problem for me, is I feel like these were always just too easy. Even playing Splatoon 1 for the first time, these levels are just super easy and there's not a whole lot going on, and it's just kind of average campaign gameplay, nothing too crazy. And I think that's my one worry right now, is that this is just not really doing anything new or different. And of course we talk about Splatoon 3 being 2.5, I think it's past that now. I think the multiplayer has showed itself with the new squid movements, with the squid roll and squid surge, and the new weapons are a lot of fun to use. They might not be super good compared to others, but they're a lot of fun to use. The game feels fresh, but for some reason, this campaign is looking like it's exactly what we left off at, and it's not really kind of doing anything that the Octo expansion really did. Now, we do see missions that really do dive into that Octo expansion gameplay, that really has you doing some really hard timed missions. Let me kind of talk about what I thought was going to happen. I thought missions would be kind of, mixed between the Octo expansion ones and the regular ones from Splatoon 1 and 2, but I still think they are. That's definitely something I'm not saying. Like, this level right now looks like a Splatoon 1 and 2 mission, not from the Octo expansion. But it's weird because we've seen that there are Zapfish to collect, but every single time we keep seeing the Inkling go to the end of the level and put some pieces together for some reason. I have yet to see a Zapfish in any of these gameplays, and I mean, I think this is what, the 5th or 6th level we've seen so far? So what are the Zapfish for? I don't know, but these missions still just feel very basic. Make your way to the end of the stage with some very, very simple enemies to dodge and obstacles, and you're good to go. And of course, I know you get to play through the levels multiple times, but and we got some more gameplay shown off from woes on YouTube, and it shows a 3rd level here with the stringer, and I'm sorry in advance, this gameplay isn't great. This person's like not using motion controls, which is my trigger for one, and it's just not really that great. I'm sorry, but you can clearly tell that this mission is really kind of trying to teach the player like what the stringer does and how to use it, and ways to aim your shots and put your, projectiles on stuff. And once again, we know that the campaign for Nintendo and Splatoon is made for, beginners, teaching people how to use these weapons and how to play with these weapons. So I completely get that aspect, but I'm starting to feel like we are a little too far within the Splatoon franchise to just be having the campaigns be tutorials for people. I mean, are we going to have Splatoon 10 and still have the campaign be a, this is how you use this weapon stage, and this is, like, I feel like we're at the point now where campaigns need to just be campaigns. Fun story modes that really challenge the player with these weapons and stuff, and maybe have a special, training mode for people that want to learn each weapon instead of making it the campaign. And yeah, that's my only problem really, and I'm just seeing this campaign being very watered down again, and I'm not seeing anything too special or unique or really even different to make me say, wow, this is really looking or feeling like the Octo expansion did. The other thing that's kind of bothering me is that the enemies are kind of the exact same. It's just the Octarians now covered in fur from the mammalians or whoever they're going to be. At least for Salmon Run, they made a whole bunch of new boss salmonid and even big boss salmonid, and I'm really excited about that, but there's really no new enemies at all. No new archetypes, no new creatures. Everything that I've seen so far has been the exact same. Even the obstacles and stage layouts look like they're completely ripped from 1 and 2 and not altered or changed whatsoever. We do have the addition of Little Buddy, but right now it just seems like he's used as a distraction where you can distract Octarians in order to attack them from behind, or use him to do some chip damage instead of you shooting it at somebody. So, I mean, right now he's just another weapon and kind of a big distraction instead of using him as a key part of the gameplay. I would have loved if they kind of incorporated him into maybe some puzzle elements and stuff. Maybe you have to use him, you know, for certain puzzles. I'm sure there will be, like we've seen that you could throw him on these little, you know, spinning devices and it'll spin the platforms in order for you to cross over. So yes, maybe there's still stuff to be seen. I'm hoping for that. But I think personally, I was going a lot deeper with Little Buddy, thinking that maybe you could throw him and control him for a little short amount of time, like put him through small spaces and stuff and have him crawl through small corridors in order to hit switches. That would have been really cool, but instead it's just like you throw him and he does something for you as you go on. Like, yeah, it's okay, but once again, I don't think it's anything, you know, game-changing to make Splatoon 3 absolutely insane at the end of the day. I'll say it again, I am glad that they confirmed that there will be like sunken sea scrolls again, and there will also be 3 different weapons to choose from on each level, you know, adding that replay value, making players go back and when you collect all those extra, you know, fish eggs and also play with the new weapons. You know, we know that the other weapon classes do tend to make these levels a lot harder, at least they did in the Octo expansion, so hopefully that's what we get this time around as well. But right now, it's just looking very, very, very similar to the other games, and I get it, it's just Splatoon 3. This is a small part of the whole game. You know, the multiplayer is really Nintendo's big focus here. The campaign isn't. That's why I still really want to see a full-fledged story mode kind of Splatoon spin-off game that just focuses on the campaign. But there is something that we do have to remember and keep in mind right now. This might be a basic campaign at the end of the day, which is fine because there still is apparently large-scale paid DLC coming. And remember, the large-scale paid DLC of Splatoon 2 ended up being Octo expansion, and I don't even think they marketed it as large-scale paid DLC when the Octo expansion did come out. But the Octo expansion was, you know, beloved by the fan base, and it had an amazing ending with some brand new gameplay that completely changed up what we thought the gameplay was going to be based on the Splatoon 1 and 2 main campaigns. So maybe this time we'll also get something that's completely different and give us more of a grand adventure mode, which would be really fun. A full world to explore instead of just these floating obstacle courses in the sky. It was fun maybe once, twice, but 3 times I feel like it's going to get old quick, and I feel like people are going to blast through the campaign in probably 2 to 3 hours once the game releases. I know there are going to be very difficult missions. There's always a couple that really test the player, and they're always optional, which I love that as well, that Nintendo has optional weapons if you really want to challenge yourself with these stages. And we've already seen one with the Stringer during the Treehouse gameplay where the own Treehouse employee couldn't even beat the level that they've been practicing on. So it shows just how hard some of these levels can get, and that does make me excited, but at the end of the day, it still does feel exactly like Splatoon 1 and 2, and even bits of the Octo expansion are coming through. And when I say that, I still feel like the Octo expansion did some things that this game isn't doing right now. For instance, the Octo expansion added some really cool missions. Remember all those missions with the billiard balls and different things that you had to do in order to guide it along its path? And then there was even the crazy ending where it had us going through all these different portions of some type of underground factory made by a tartar, and there was just so much stuff going on. And there was a mission where you lost your weapon and you had to go and kind of sneak through the ink. So hopefully there's stuff like this. You know, obviously we don't know the end of the game and the final boss. In fact, we don't know anything about any boss right now, which does kind of reassure me that they probably won't reuse bosses. I really hope they don't. I hope it's all original bosses, because if they were reusing them, I feel like they would have shown some already. So there's something really special or unique with these bosses. There's a reason why they're keeping it closed behind doors and they're not showing a single one. But overall, I feel like this campaign is still going to be fun to bust through these challenges and play through these levels as fast as we can, and even now that we can speedrun them. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to be a wait until the paid DLC, whatever this DLC pack is going to be, until we see something truly mind-blowing, or at least truly different than what we've gotten so far. But guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the story mode campaign so far. Does it look very interesting? Does it attract you? Are you kind of bleh on it? Let me know what you think down below, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Splatoon 3 and Nintendo in general, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.